Hello everyone, and welcome to my Let's Play on Lemmings and more Lemmings. I'll be starting with Lemmings though. Yep, I just played the intro there for you, and how broken it was that Lemmings' feet weren't even connected to their body when they were falling. Yeah, I'm just going to start a new game straight out. And I'll start with Lemmings. I'm also going to start the fun difficulty. Yeah, this game takes me back. I'm playing this on my PlayStation 3, so let's give me the best possible chance here. I don't know what I mean when I say that, to be honest, because and I will use the fast forward feature just to speed these videos up a bit. I'm not shy about using that. Alright, that was easy. I'm going to cut these loading screens out. Yeah. It's not a bad port of Lemmings, it's essentially this exact same as the Windows 95 version of Lemmings. So as you can see, it's got the enhanced graphics on it. Just the task window looks a bit different. But they have the same icons pretty much as the Windows version. The only problem is it doesn't really work very well on a PlayStation controller because you can't use the analog sticks. Well, at least not that I know you can. I certainly can't get it to work on a PlayStation 3 controller. And we're on to level 3 now. This can be done with 3 blockers, so I'm going to use that method. You should really shortcut a fast forward button on this. They should have really thought sorry, muddling my words there. They should have really shortcutted a fast forward button onto the controller. Because I'm forever having to go down and press it with my cursor. Yeah, essentially you just use the D-pad on the direction arrows on the PlayStation 3 controller, and use the X button to assign tasks, and you use the shoulder buttons to scroll across. And I can press that as many times as I want, it'll just keep saying, oh no. Yeah, anyway, this Lemmings has been a very big part of my childhood. I did have it on the Amiga when I was younger, so as you know, the Amiga version was probably the most well received version of Lemmings. It was probably it was where it was originally released, I believe, and it was then ported to other consoles from that version. Yeah, and unfortunately I didn't keep my Amiga because my parents were very well, they weren't very keen on keeping consoles around without asking me first. I would of course have opted to keep it if I had the choice, and I wish I did still have my Amiga. I can't remember what version it was of Amiga, but it was probably the one that run Lemmings. I then had it on the SNES when I was younger also, and that's a very good version as well because it was one that retained the 2-player. To be honest, I never really had anybody good to play the 2-player with, so I didn't really have much experience with the 2-player. To be honest, if Sony attempted to recapture the 2-player magic, I'd be all for it, but I don't expect they will because they're not very keen on. They don't sound very keen on the Lemmings license. They did release Lemmings Touch, and that was a good game in 2014, but it didn't do very well from what I understand. Lemmings essentially walking on blank pixels there. That basher. And yeah, yet another easy level. I don't think we're gonna bump into a hard level until like level 13, I think it is, because that's a tricky one. Save that's a tricky one where you're gonna assign diggers, but it's still not too hard. Nothing gets really hard till the middle to all the tricky rating. So, oh bloody hell! But the exit on that looks wrong as well. How can they leave off the horns on the exit on that thing? I don't really know what that thing is, but it's one of my favourite. It's one of my favourite exits on the Lemmings game in general. Wasn't really a fan of the ones in the Oh No More Lemmings. As you can see, I did it with just 2 bombers, which is a nice trick if you know how to do it, because you're required to do that in tricky level 18, I think. Of course, I'm quoting off the Amiga version of Lemmings here. This version of Lemmings is not the perfect version of Lemmings because it leaves out like 11 levels across all of the games. Yeah, I think there's 209 levels in this version of Lemmings, and that means it's missing 11 levels because the original Lemmings had 120 levels, 30 on each rating. And Oh No More Lemmings has 5 ratings, and they were 20 levels on each, bringing it 100. So that should be 220 levels in total. Now I know that this version of Lemmings is missing the ones with the extra graphic sets, like Beast of a Level on Fun, and there's Menacing on Tricky. Yeah, unfortunately that level's not in this. It's an awesome level. And speaking of which, Taxing level is called What an Awesome Level, and that is a good level as well. And then on Mayhem difficulty, just in the last 10 levels, there's a Beast 2 of a level. Now I believe these were based on, I believe all those extra graphic sets, if you're interested, were all based on other games by DMA Design at the time. Probably why they didn't make it into other versions of Lemmings, because not all of them were made by DMA. Well, DMA made the original Amiga version, but the ports were all made by different publishers. Because I mean, you got like Ocean, who made the Game Boy version, which was a terrible version. I've still got that, unfortunately. Yeah, the Game Boy version is pretty much the same as the NES version if you're interested. It's just simply a clone of that. The levels just ripped off the NES version. But there's a couple of mechanic differences. I mean, like on the Game Boy, the builder would hit the wall, but it would also turn around. The NES version doesn't do that. Yeah, I'm waffling on a bit about different versions of Lemmings, but I'll try not to do that. It's just because these levels are so easy that I can do them with my eyes shut virtually. I mean, I've played Lemmings for so long that these levels have just become second nature to me. Let's see if I can do this without getting... Yep, there we go. Easy when you know how. And I don't need to turn up the release rate. That was easy. Yeah, so I also had I may have had the Amiga version, but also it was quite popular in my school. It was quite popular in my school, Lemmings, because it was on every single computer, and that was back in the days when schools had Acorn Archimedes in their school. And so they had the Acorn Archimedes version of Lemmings, and I'm quite a fan of that version, I must say. It had very good music. I mean, while there was like a computer in our classroom, and there'd be like the teacher would let up to 2 people on it at a time, and while we're allowed to carry on with our work, we had to listen to the music of Lemmings in the background, and the teacher never really told the students, the pupils, to turn the volume down on the game. Maybe because she didn't know how to, or maybe she just enjoyed the music secretly and didn't want to admit it. But yeah, it was nice music to listen to while you were working, and I must admit I was a bit of a nerd at school, so that does sound a bit sad if listening to Lemmings music was the highlight of your school day. But really, while other people in my school were interested in, Pogs and, Pokemon cards and Power Rangers and Thunderbirds, they were just some of the fads I enjoyed over the years. It was just a case of I was always interested in my computer games. I'm not gonna lie, some people did like computer games, but they probably didn't quite take them as seriously as I did. This game being a good example. Right. Well, as you can see, we've quite a while ago we reached the end of the levels where it gave you a hint of what to do by giving you the tasks that you need to do the level, but now it just gives you 20 of everything, and you're expected to finish the level using your own wisdom. The music in this game's not. The music in this port of Lemmings is not too bad. It's just they're not very good mixes of the songs that were in the original Amiga version. I mean, the Amiga version songs were amazing. I'm just gonna say everything about the Amiga version was perfect. That was the perfect port of Lemmings in my opinion. And while I'm here, I'm just going to throw it out there. There was a Lemmings book that was released last year and was written by somebody who was a fan of the game. I think his name was Justin Castle. Oh, hold on, I'll just pull the book out a moment. Yeah, it's written by Justin Castle, and what he did was he took every port of Lemmings that he could find, and he compiled this book comparing the versions of Lemmings, telling you, well, those just screenshots from the games. It was telling you, just gave you information comparing the ports. And while the books are all expensive, I mean, if you're a Lemmings fan, which I assume you must be if you're watching this playthrough, I highly don't recommend you buy that book. I mean, me being in the UK, it cost me $34.95 on Amazon, and that's quite a lot to drop for a book. But you won't regret that purchase. I'm telling you now. If you're going to, must apologise for that. My Facebook seems to be going off there. I hope that won't keep happening. I hope that's high enough. Yeah, it's just high enough. That would have been embarrassing if I messed that up. Yeah. Anyway, that book I was on about, it's called Lemmings the Ports, as in Lemmings, and then the subtitle being The Ports, and that's essentially what you get. It does give basic information about the game. I mean, it gives you maps of every single level, and then it goes on about the levels that were in other versions of Lemmings that are not in the Amiga version. Like, for example, trying to think. Yeah, if you're aware that if you ever played the Sega Genesis version of Lemmings, I think I'm going to put another builder there. Yeah. If you've ever played the Sega Genesis version of Lemmings, you'll be aware that due to the limitations of the Sega Genesis, a lot of the bigger levels on the original Lemmings did not make it into the game, and what they had to do was replace them with other levels. Well, while they were good levels, they all had something in common. They were all rather small levels, so it's still a very good port. It's a very good play. It's still a very good play. I haven't played it personally. I've just watched playthroughs of it on YouTube because unfortunately I can't get my Sega Mega Drive to work anymore. So on the SNES version, there's 5 Sunsoft levels at the end of the game on a completely separate rating, and they're considered more difficult levels. They were essentially ripped from the Mega Drive version. They were just a selection of 5 levels from their additional rating because they had 30 Sunsoft levels as an addition after Mayhem difficulty, if that makes any sense. I did say that. I'll just say that in one go. I'll just reiterate that. The Genesis version actually has 150 levels, and there's that's because there's actually a 5th difficulty level after Mayhem. And yeah. Anyway, this book just details every level that you would see in other versions of Lemmings. It doesn't tell you how many skills or stuff you got and what the release rate is, and information about the level and how many you got to save or anything. It just has screenshots of the levels, so it's pretty basic, but it's still a very good read. I mean, it's good. If anything, if you're a fan of the game, it's worth picking up just so you got something to refer to in the future. If you just ever think of Lemmings and you can't be asked to play the game, you just want to. It's just something you could just sit down and read for like half an hour, and then it feels like you got your fill with Lemmings then. If that makes any sense. It's better than doing a let's play like we're doing now. Maybe I've just spoken myself out of a job. You never know. Anyway, so yeah, just if you can afford to drop the price on it, that's good. There is an alternate version if you go to the website that sells it. If you'd rather not buy a hardback copy, well, it's not a hardback, it's a paperback, so that does devalue it a bit as well. That was a bit broken then. Did you hear that? It tried to start the next track, but then it went back and replayed this track. That's a bit broken. Yeah, they do sell a PDF version of the book, and it's significantly cheaper. It's like £12, I think. So I think essentially a lot of the cost is probably a lot of the cost in that book is probably going to the publisher, which probably explains the high price tag. I don't know details or economics of how books are sold, so I don't want to get into an argument about that. But I'm just telling you that there is a PDF version available for £12, about £12 I think it is. I don't know the exact price. It's just in case you don't want to drop the price of the full book, but you still want to have it and be able to print it off yourself or something. I'd drop the price on the book though personally, because it was just so much. It'd be so much better. It's just so much better, and I've been a fan of the Lemmings for so long. I just feel like it's not justifiable to not buy the book. But yeah, I'm keeping the book in good condition because it's obviously a paperback, and I've had to be very careful not to crease the pages. And for those who don't know, Lemmings was released in 1991, which means it's the 25-year anniversary next year. Jesus Christ, this is terrible. 25th anniversary of Lemmings next year in 2016. So that's on the front of the book. So it's very appropriate that this book was released this year because it's in time for it was actually released at the end of last year, but so it was technically released a year and a half before the anniversary, the 25th anniversary. Right. Yeah, I was rather lazy on this level. I should have probably multitasked and had these lemmings bashing through at the same time. I do apologise about that. But we have our fast forward buttons, so there's not too much to worry about there. I'd really have to make sure that I do this level a lot tidier when I do the taxing level 1 version of this level. This level does return at taxing level 1 at a much harder difficulty. Okay, approximately halfway through fun difficulty now, so, and it's only taken us 22 minutes, but I did play the intro as well, so it's actually less than that. Yeah, this level brings me back because the version of Lemmings that I'm most accustomed to was the SNES version of Lemmings. There's a very important difference in that game, and that's this level. It changes the graffiti on the background to this to paradise because apparently heaven is a bit too controversial and holy and Christian, so Nintendo wanted it removed from the game. So the people who made it, which I think was Sunsoft, yeah, it was Sunsoft, and they had to take this graffiti out. They kept the arrow, but they wrote paradise, which is a much longer word, so interesting difference for you if you want to know. And other things that happened was a level which is actually not in this version of Lemmings, but is another version. There's a tricky, I can't remember what the exact tricky level is, sometime after Tricky 19, which is postcard from Lemmingland, and it's called All the Sixes. And obviously because that level is 3 sixes, it's going to be, it's not very nice in Nintendo's eyes, so they asked for that level to be completely removed as well. But it wasn't completely removed from the game. They just created a new level, which is called Ohio Lemmingsan, which is basically the same level, but they had 3 Japanese symbols instead of the sixes. So it's essentially the same. I mean, it uses this tile set, and there's lava underneath it, but there's Japanese symbols instead, and the home is the exit here is actually quite low down on the 3rd character as well, so it is a bit of a different level. Yet again, I'm talking more than paying attention. I do apologise about that, folks. The fun difficulty is supposed to be that difficulty where you're supposed to just have fun and relax and enjoy the game before it starts to have you pulling your hair out. I am going to issue a warning right now that I probably will end up editing this video if there are levels that cause me a lot of problems. I probably will. I'll edit it such you see me, I'll probably just have it as bloopers or something, where you see me having the failed attempt, and then just the whole then it goes on to the next clip, kind of. Oh, for God's sake, I'm terrible at assigning bashes in this game. Always press the button when it's too bloody late. It's gonna be my downfall, this is. Probably should start from this side actually, because it's easier to hit these guys. Oh God. I'm going to admit, this is a hard version of Lemmings to complete as well. Some of the All No More Lemmings levels were frustratingly difficult. Especially one on, I think it's Havoc. Yeah, I think it was Havoc. And it was called There's Madness in the Method. And that's a level where you've got... Oh god, sorry about that. I was planning to try and save everybody. It looks like I'm not going to now, and this guy's going to walk to his doom if I don't do something. Yeah, if you're not familiar with this game, if you're not familiar with this level, there are loads of traps underneath there, so you should not send the lemmings underneath. There is a level later on in the game where it does force you to take the lemmings that way, but what you do is you try and compress them together, and then you send them down, because the trap can only trigger as many times as the trap can only trigger once if there's like a whole group of lemmings clumped into this one lemming, for example. It can only trigger once for that bit, that clump of lemmings, if that makes any sense. And it will only essentially kill one lemming. It will not kill the whole bunch of lemmings, which is very well, it's just very counter. Just very intuitive. Right. I know I could use a blocker as well, but who has time for that? You've got to essentially learn to do some of these levels like this purely because they're just going to get harder from here on out. I mean, oh crap. Well, I've essentially lost those lemmings there, so. Oh, that is carnage, that is. That's not too bad. I don't think this level's got a very high quota of lemmings to save anyway, so I think we're okay in that respect. Otherwise, it's going to be dreadfully embarrassing, and I apologise. Oh, wow. That was close. Oh well, you saw it here. That's a lucky escape. Oh, this level's boring. Right. This level takes me back to a series I watched on Lemmings recently, and that was called the Lemmings Laziness Challenge, where somebody essentially just sets out to complete Lemmings with the least amount of skills possible. And it's very interesting to watch if you're a fan of the game and you're interested in how little resources you can use to get a job done. Trying to remember where exactly he started the bridge here. I think he started it about there. He was playing it on the DOS version of Lemmings anyway, so the DOS version of Lemmings is quite generous with builders, I feel. Because well, I don't really have a reason why. You just have to watch it and have a feel for how they work. It's much faster than it. I'll just say it now. This builder is rather slow, you know, when you compare it to other versions of Lemmings. I think that builder's going to spectacularly miss, and he's going to end up turning around. If that's the case, we've got a long wait. Actually, we don't have to have a long wait. God, this is gonna suck. This is not gonna look pretty. I might have to use a digger and a builder and a climber. Ooh. Okay. Ah. Didn't quite get him to respond there. Let's try and get him to turn around. Ah, bollocks. Yeah, I'm making a right mess of this level, folks. I do apologise. I'm apologising an awful lot, though. I do realise that. Okay, let's try and fix this. Yeah, that should do it. Let's free these guys. Yeah, anyway, as I was saying, this laziness challenge, it just essentially gets you to complete Lemmings in the least amount of skills possible, and it's very interesting to watch because some levels have an alternative solution, and there is a level coming up shortly where there's actually a terrible glitch in the DOS version that allows you to complete it with much less skills than you normally would. And I'll let you know what happens when I get to that level. Yeah. Excuse me. Just need to have a sip of my drink. Well, that level took a while, didn't it? I do apologise. I'm normally much more efficient with that level. We're now at Lemcon. Yeah, an interesting solution to that laziest challenge as well. He actually goes along the top here because it actually results in using one less skill, and he goes through it. He goes through that just for the sake of saving that one skill, and it's just solutions like that that make the challenge interesting. And you might not even notice the solutions there, and you're thinking, why the hell would anybody ever do this solution? But that's the reason why this guy is doing it. And I can't remember offhand the name of the person who does that challenge, but I will find that information out, and I'll probably insert it in one of my later videos for this game. Oh god, we've lost somebody. Come on. Yeah, I'll find out that information and insert it in the videos. You can probably just search on YouTube Lemmings Laziness Challenge. That would also bring up that video, that series of videos. It's a very good watch if you're a fan of the game, because he only does it on the normal Lemmings, though. He doesn't do it on All No More Lemmings, which is what I'm intending to do in the course of this playthrough. But I'll get to All No More Lemmings after I finish this one. Alright, we're getting on to the interesting levels now. The levels that take a bit more planning. Because they've been pretty simple so far. This one's not too hard at all though. Yeah, another interesting thing about that laziness challenge as well is sometimes he doesn't go through the trouble of using a blocker to block off his lemmings because he doesn't want to go through the trouble of using those blockers, if that makes sense. And the amount of lemmings you have to save is ridiculously low, such that you could just go through the level essentially like I'm doing now and not care so much about casualties. See? Yeah, so as you can probably tell, in this level, he used 2 bashes and a builder, which is the bare minimum you can do to get this level done. So that's a good example of what the laziness challenge is about. We've got some trap lemmings over there, but I just noticed that. And I do waste a skill freeing them, unfortunately. So I just failed that laziness challenge. I am a bad person. No, I'm not going to deny, as I'm obviously a fan of this game, that this game is pretty good, and It's quite a good time when I got to this level, to be honest, because I did actually put a video up on YouTube just to test how the filming of Lemmings on my capture card did. And I'll just pause it a moment. There is actually an exit to this level right here, just underneath this X, as in the mouth is right there. So I'm not going to do it in this. I'm not going to do it in this solution though. I'm going to do it the proper way, because it's a bit tedious doing that way. But just a nice Easter egg for you if you didn't. Excuse me, if you didn't know. And of course these other two exits are fake ones. They're not. There's actually nothing there at all. But that one over on the far right of the level, for future reference, you can go over there and there will be an exit. The only problem with doing that though is there's a massive gap here, and then you've got these fires to overcome. But I went right over the top of them here, so, and then just mined and take it down when I got to the end. It's quite a long trek to get over there anyway. So unless you just want to do it for fun, I highly recommend not doing it. Other than just to say that you've done it. But yeah, there's not many levels in Lemmings which have a hidden exit like that, unless they're yet to be discovered, which I highly doubt after the game being out for 25 years. I'm sure there's a lot of I'm sure a lot of the secrets about this game would have been discovered by now. So. Yeah, I still don't understand why there's no horns on those exits. There should be 2 horns here. Well, that's another thing that just happened to get omitted from the game because of censoring purposes, I don't know. But they just look stupid, they do. Oh, my bad, I completely missed that then. I thought he was going to walk up here. I didn't want to risk bashing out that bridge there. Yeah. Another thing I can do with the controller as well is if you haven't already noticed, is I can toggle the tasks by doing only the 8 skills. Though I can't do anything with the fast forward or the release rate. I can toggle them using the L2 and R2 button on the PlayStation 3 controller. The PlayStation 3 controller is virtually identical to the PlayStation 1 controller. For anybody who's interested in the Lemmings games I will be covering on my channel throughout, I'm probably going to do a playthrough of Lemmings Paintball on the PC, because I can record PC gameplay I've discovered recently with my capture card, which is good because I've also got the Windows version of Lemmings as well, but it's virtually identical to this version. I thought it'd be easier to play the PlayStation 1 version on my PlayStation 3 to film it, and it comes out pretty well on my capture card, so I went with that instead. But there's honestly no difference between those 2 versions, so there's no point in me playing the Windows 95 version. And plus I won't be able to get it probably won't be full screen either like this one is. And I'll be doing 3D Lemmings, although I'm having a bit of a problem getting that to play on my PlayStation 3 because it doesn't save. So if I do that, I'm probably going to have to what am I doing? Sorry about this, folks. I just completely missed the opportunity to get that bloody wall out easier. Yeah, just me waffling on as usual. Oh well. Let me go drowny drown. I'm terrible at saving 100%. I'm probably going to struggle when I get to the mayhem level, as you know me. I know the mayhem level, this is a pain in the arse to get the timing of the tasks off. Yeah, I'll be doing 3D Lemmings on the PlayStation 1, and I think that's it. I don't have any playable, but I don't have any versions of Lemmings the Tribes that I'm going to play, but I don't really play that game anyway. I know I'm a fan of Lemmings, and I probably should be playing that game, but I'm not a professional at that sort of game because there's just too many tasks, and I'm not very good at thinking with tasks that I'm virtually never seeing. Well, only seeing on like 10 to 15 levels at a time. Yeah, I probably could have got this done a lot easier, folks, but that's just the way. It's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. I don't know exactly why I did that, because he won't be able to get past the blocker now. That wasn't too bad. Probably could have gone better though, because there is a level that requires you to save 100% later on. Although in other versions of Lemmings, I've noticed that you don't have to save 100% on that one, and it actually allows you to use the bombers assigned in that level. Okay. This is rather simple. There is a harder version of this level again, but that doesn't really... I've only just noticed something. We've actually not had the level. We've actually not had the 20 Lemming version of We All Fall Down. That's another level that's not made it into this port of Lemmings. I can't believe it's taken me that long to notice that, and I do kind of feel terrible about that. Okay, let's get this Lemming to turn around pronto. Yeah, I'm actually quite glad that level's not there, because I think that level's there too many times, and to be honest, you only need about 2 out of the 4 of them to really say that you've done them. I think the 40 and the 80 version level of We All Fall Down are still in this port, but I think they've taken out the 20 and the 60 version, which is alright in my opinion. It's better than doing 2080 or 2060 or 2040. You know, just do 4080. That's the best way. Right, this is the level I was on about. I'll try and explain the best I can, but what he did was essentially, because you have to say 50% lemmings on this level. Well, that's what it says in the DOS version. What he did was he assigned 2 umbrellas, and then once 4 lemmings came out, he Armageddoned, and he did it with enough time such that the 2 floaters who got to the bottom safely were able to go through the exit door. And what happens is the DOS version of Lemmings is tricked into thinking that there was actually only 4 lemmings on this level. And he saved 2 of them, so he gets 50% and he passes the level. And because of that, he manages to get the level done with 2 floaters, which is much less than what you'd get away with. But anyway, let's actually do the level now, and I will not be getting away with doing that trick, unfortunately, so I've got to do it the proper way. You could go over the top in this level, but it's just too much effort, and I don't bother. Personally, that's the way you do the level when you're when you're a child. And they're still dying. Crap. I want to fix that. Let's get the lemming to bounce off the blocker. Sorry about this, folks. I did I've grossly underestimated the drop distance of this, of the survivable drop distance of these lemmings. I'm not very good at preparing for things, as you can probably tell. I mean, my life's not exactly perfect, and it's all because I can't do this level perfectly, and I apologise again. Anyway, we're getting quite close to the end of the fun difficulty now, and what I intend to do is I'll split these levels up. I'll split these videos up into different difficulty ratings. This one's run for 47 minutes now, so this one, as you can tell, the later levels are probably going to get pretty long. And that's okay, because it is a Let's Play after all, and they can probably take anywhere from 10 to 15 hours, depending on how good you are, or how bad you are, which is my case. God, these builders these builders hardly get you off the ground, I swear they don't. I've just noticed something actually. I've noticed that the top to bottom to left to right ratio in this is totally off. Excuse me. And it's making me it's making me misestimate the builders. Is misestimate even a word? I don't think it is. Oh god, this is gonna be a mess. Yeah, I'm gonna have to just gonna have to make the best I can with that. Let's get another climber out. Another one. I'll just have a blocker just in case. Yeah, this is just terrible guesswork as usual, folks. I'm making a right mess of this. I can only apologise. That's just the thing with Let's Plays. They're not supposed to be perfect, you know, manufactured playthroughs. You know, crap happens, and you just gotta get on with it and fix it. Will they make it up there? Yeah, only because they're a climber. Ugh. I'm very tempted just to start over on this level and cut it, because to be honest, I'm running out of time now. So yeah, I'm just gonna nuke this level and start it again, and I'll cut it from the video, so you probably won't even hear what I'm saying now. I'll start the builder much earlier this time. Probably started a bit too early this time. Nah, that's alright. I'll probably carry us all the way up. I do like the way that they made this bit of the level in particular. It just looks like a very nice and comfy fireplace type effect. And this game is just well made, you know. It's always going to be considered one of the best video games of all time, at least in my opinion. It's just too bad it's passed into the hands of Sony. I'm not taking a stab at Sony in any way. It's just I just think they could do so much more with this gem of a game that they've got in their catalogue. Instead, they just seem to think that the Lemmings are a mascot for them, and they could just put out a game every so often, and people can act like they care about them. I mean, Lemmings Touch was a beautiful game. I highly recommend you play that game on the Vita if you're able to. I think it's still only on the Vita. I'm not sure if they've brought it out on mobile phones or something. That was a good idea. Well, that was so much easier than that bodged up attempt that I did. And we're on to the last difficulty of fun now, I believe. No, God, I forgot about this level. My bad. Next one is definitely the last level of fun. So anyway, as I'm finishing off fun now, I'm thinking of doing something interesting with this series. It's only just come to mind, in like the last 5 minutes or so. I could probably just act like I had it from the start, but no, I'm going to be honest and say that I didn't actually have a plan to do anything special with this playthrough, but I think to myself now, I could put something like a fail counter in or something over the video just to show you how many failed attempts I've had at such and such level, so you got something to hold in my face or something, and I'll just say, yeah, I suck at this game and you lot are the best. But why are the builders so terrible on this game? Yeah, the builders are so bad on this game. And then, oh, come on, it's not that bad. There we go. Why did that take so long? Oh God, seriously? Apparently pressing bash up there. Oh, I can see why actually. It does actually touch the metal a bit. Didn't even try though. I can see this be a bloody car crash because of the amount of time it's taken me to get the builders done. There we go. Well, I got the first 2 builder placements perfect, so well, as perfect as I could probably get them. This Port of Lemmings is notoriously terrible for getting builder placements right. That trick seems to work. Just keeping your cursor just off a bit, such that it only hits the lemming at the very side like that. That seems to work. Notice that strategy used in the DOS version of Lemmings. Yeah, see, it works there as well. That can actually help me, actually. That can serve me quite well later on, especially in All No More Lemmings. Because All No More Lemmings, they just start it. They start it with 20 easy levels and they just jump into the deep end instantaneously. It's like, yeah, enough of the easy crap, let's get onto the hard crap. Oh, I've got to blow up the blocker. Right, anyway, we're just about to wrap this up, so I'll do the last level here and then I'll call this a video. Wow. Can't believe I got that right. I got that wrong. That's alright. As long as you put a digger there, such that they fall all the way down, it's fine. So, thanks very much for watching this video, folks. Next one will be the tricky difficulty, and that's still not too much harder, but yeah, the skills start to become limited, and there are a couple of tricky ones there that really should be up higher up, but this game's perfect the way it is, and I'm not going to change it for the world. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.